Now listen to me carefully. If you're waiting for the right moment to change your life, let me tell you something. That moment is already here. The game of life is happening right now, not tomorrow, not someday. And the biggest mistake you can make is believing that life will wait for you to get organized. Look, I know a lot of talented people, smart people, good people. But you know what most of them are missing? Clarity. Clarity about who they are and why they're here. And I'm going to tell you what nobody else does. You weren't born just to pay bills and survive. You were born to fulfill a purpose. And that purpose doesn't start when everything is perfect. It starts the moment you say, enough. I refuse to keep living on autopilot. Let me ask you something. How many times have you betrayed yourself just to please others? How many times have you stayed silent when your heart was screaming for change? You call that peace, but it's a prison. And I know because I've lived it. I spent years trying to please everyone, being the nice guy, doing what was expected of me. Until one day I finally understood. If you live to please others, you die ignored by yourself. Now hear this. You don't have to be famous, rich, or influential to make a difference in the world. You just have to be you, but not the you shaped by pain, criticism, and fear. You need to remember who you were before the world taught you to doubt yourself. And for that, you need a foundation. For me, that foundation was God. I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about a higher power, a creator, someone who knows you better than you know yourself. I discovered that when you align yourself with God, everything starts to make sense. You stop running in circles. You stop sabotaging yourself. Want a simple example? You start taking care of your body, not out of vanity, but out of respect for the temple God gave you. You start honoring your parents, not because they were perfect, but because you understand that forgiveness sets you free. You start working with excellence because you know your work is also part of your ministry. That's why I say, there's no real spirituality without real transformation. And when you start changing on the inside, the world around you begins to change too. But here's the thing. The journey is daily. There's no shortcut, no magic button. There's choice, there's sacrifice, there's discipline. Will you make mistakes? Yes. But the difference is, now, you rise faster. Now you know who's walking with you, because when God is in the boat, the storm may come, but you won't sink. Now pay attention to something that changed my life. If you don't have time to pray, then you're too busy with things that don't really matter. Like that old saying goes, those who are too busy to talk to God will eventually have too much time fixing the mess of a life with no direction. You need silence. You need prayer. You need focus. Because in the middle of all the noise, God is still speaking. But only those who've learned to silence their ego can hear him. Now tell me honestly, how many times have you asked God for a miracle, but didn't change a single habit in your routine? You want healing, but you keep eating badly. You want peace, but you stay surrounded by gossip. You want prosperity, but you don't honor the money you already have. Hey, wake up. Miracles don't mix with laziness. Miracles walk hand in hand with action. Like the proverb says, faith without works is dead. So if you want a different life, start here. Walk away from what's dragging you down. Get closer to what lifts you up. Stop liking what pulls you away from God. You have a choice. And that choice will determine whether you live as just a survivor or as someone who leaves a legacy, because in the end, God's not going to ask how many followers you had. He's going to ask what you did with the gifts he gave you. So stand up. Get ready. Pray, read, serve, and remember, you weren't born to be small. You were created in the image of the Creator. That means everything you need to win is already inside you. You just have to stop doubting and start acting. Go with faith, go with courage, because if God is for you, who can be against you?